What's up, guys? So some big news just coming out here about 15 minutes ago on Facebook. Chase Randall on his Facebook page announcing that him and the TKS Motorsports number 2KS have now split directions. They've gone different ways. They parted ways. They're not together anymore. However you want to say that, it is no more. And it's quite surprising because I felt like they were a pretty good combination. They were doing some pretty good things, including just making the Knoxville Nationals A main event last weekend, right? On Saturday. So what? Today, when I'm recording this, today's Monday. So 2 days ago, today's Tuesday. 3 days ago, they made the Knoxville Nationals main event together. And now all of a sudden they're not together anymore. I did talk to Chase Randall for a brief moment at the Knoxville Nationals. I went over to his t-shirt trailer and was trying to find a sticker to use for my whiteboard to turn into a magnet. And he said, we don't have any of those, and nothing when I was talking to him in that brief amount of time would indicate that this was going to happen, right? So definitely a little bit out of left field here for this to be going on, especially with the stuff they've done so far this year. The last couple of years, the TKS Motorsports TKS Motorsports 2KS car really has not traveled a ton. It was more of a Knoxville, Jackson, a little bit of Huset's car. Had a lot of different drivers in the car before they got to Chase Randall, and he really seemed to work out pretty well in the car, which we'll look at here in just a moment. But, we talked about Cole Macedo and the 2C car going on the Outlaw Tour, right? And that's kind of silly season stuff. And now this is definitely some more silly season news that no one was expecting to see, right? And I feel like if you're Chase Randall, which he put this out on his Facebook saying, it was my decision. That's kind of what it sounded like, and what he wrote on Facebook, that it was his decision to leave the team, and they're not together anymore. And he said he'll see, his fans at the racetrack soon. That leads me to believe that this was his decision, right, to leave the car. And I feel like you don't do that unless you have something else lined up. Now, we do know that he has the family-owned number 9 car, which he's done very, very well in over the last couple of years. I mean, ran third and nearly won the Tuscarora 50 last year at Port Royal Speedway, and all kinds of other great stuff, right? But I feel like you don't do this unless you have something going on behind the scenes, right? So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but he did say we'll see him at the track soon. So here's a couple of things to look at. So Chase Randall and TKS Motorsports, they linked up last year in the middle of 2023, 2 straight Knoxville Nationals main event appearances, right? So last year they ran 13th, and the next year they ran 22nd, so which was just, this year 3 days ago. And I believe Chase Randall was, if I'm not mistaken, the rookie of the Nationals last year, driving this car with a 13th place result. They also made this year's 360 Nationals main event, and they finished 23rd in that feature, but they were still able to make the show. They have 2 Knoxville 410 wins this year, currently 8th in the overall point standings. I don't think they've ran every race. I was looking at the points, and like Aaron Reitzel's at the top with like 14 feature starts, and Chase Randall had 11, so I'm not really sure. I don't think he's running full time, but he's 8th in points there with 2 wins this year, and also a 360 sprint car win as well. He also got a big win at the Jackson Motorplex with the MSTS 410s, a 38 car field. I believe that was a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. He was able to win that race with the TKS car as well. And then with the Big 2 Series with the World of Outlaws, he got a 6th place result at the US 36 Raceway in Missouri, and a 10th place run at I-55 Raceway in Missouri as well. That was this year against the Outlaws. And then against High Limit, a 3rd place result leading 19 laps at I-70 Motorsports Park earlier this year. And then also a 7th place run at the Eagle Raceway in Nebraska during the Midweek Money Series with High Limit. So as you can tell by these numbers, right? I mean, it's a pretty good year, right? And, at the beginning of the season, they said that they were going to be running all the big races. They're going to be trying to run, obviously the Nationals, the Kings Royal, all that stuff. They did not make the Kings Royal feature. But, I mean, looking at some of the stuff they've done, I mean, relatively successful, right? I mean, 3 wins at Knoxville. They made the Nationals feature, which a lot of guys, I mean, almost based their entire season on. If I can make the Nationals main event, that is a successful year. They were able to do that. Led laps against High Limit. 2 top 10s against the Outlaws in very limited starts, a 38 car field win with the MSTS series. I mean, these are not bad numbers for this team that really, as I mentioned earlier, does not travel a ton before this year, right? To see them at US 36 Raceway, that was, I mean, way off the porch for this team, right? Also this year, in 410 action only, 38 races, 3 wins, 12 top fives, 18 top tens, and $93,225 in earnings, which overall in all of sprint car racing, that is 26th overall. So, I mean, these guys have been up there. They've been running well. They've been having, obviously, wins and some success here during some big races to be able to get that much prize money, racked up to be 26th overall in the entire nation. So, I'm not sure what went wrong here. I felt like they were really good. For what, and I did see a lot of comments on my videos last week in Knoxville that Chase Randall, imagine if Chase Randall got out of that penalty box and this stuff. I'm like, I don't see why people are saying that this is a penalty box. I thought this car was fast all year long. A couple years ago when they had Austin McCarl in the car, he was very, very fast. I'm not sure why people thought the TKS car was a penalty box. I think nothing. I think it's a great car. And they showed this year that they have great equipment, especially when you put a good driver in it like Chase Randall, then they can get the job done. And they've already done it 3 times this year, including a 360 win. So 4 times this year they went to victory lane. So now at the bottom here, I mean, does he have something lined up? Does he have another ride that we don't know about that he's going to jump behind the wheel of? Or is he going to get in the family-owned car? Is he going to be in the 9 car? What's going to happen in 2025, right? Like I put out a video not too long ago about the top 10 guys that I think could be on a national tour next year. And if I remember right, I don't think I had Chase Randall on that list. I'm trying to remember. I might have, but I don't think I did because he was with TKS Motorsports. I've never heard any inkling of them ever going on a national tour. They don't run a ton of races throughout the year, right? So that was not even in my, he wasn't even in my foresight to okay, he's going to be a car that could potentially go, right? But with this split, he's going to be a pretty desirable guy, right? And at the end of 2025, I feel like teams could be calling him to run a national tour. I mean, this kid is ready to do it. He's young. He's proven that he can go to different tracks and win and compete against the best guys. I think Chase Randall is a pretty hot prospect right now, pretty hot free agent to try and sign to a deal, right, to a touring car. So this is pretty big news. And also, who goes to the 2KS Motorsports car? I don't know, man. That's a great question because they've had, like I said, they've had a lot of drivers over the last couple of years. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. They've had McCarl, they've had Randall, they've had Matt Jewell in the car. I think they've had another McCarl in the car. I'm trying to remember. There's so many different guys that have come through there. Maybe Dusty Zomer jumps in it. I don't know, man. I mean, there's definitely some options there for them to try and hire to finish out the Knoxville season and try and build towards 2025. I have no idea. Your guys' guess is as good as mine, but relatively big news here going on in the sprint car world on a random Tuesday afternoon after the Knoxville Nationals. A team that made the feature has now split ways with the drivers. So, and it sounds like it was opposite ways. The driver splitting ways with the car owner. That's all we've got from Chase Randall's Facebook page. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys again here soon. But definitely some weird stuff going on here today. And yeah, that's all we've got for right now. So we'll talk to you guys again here very soon.